Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Speaking Show. I am Ella.
And I am Jake. Really glad you are here with us today.
Jake, how has your week been?
Actually, really good. I have been cooking a lot this week. I went through this phase of trying every recipe I'd been putting off for months.
Oh, I love that. How did it go?
Mixed results, but I am counting it as progress.
I will take that.
You know, I love that phrase, I will take that. It just works perfectly in that moment.
It does, and that's actually what got us thinking this week.
Because take is one of those verbs that's everywhere in English, and most people feel like they know it, but they only know a small part of it.
A surprisingly small part, actually. We sat down and mapped out everything take does in English, all the different situations it covers, all the different meanings it carries.
And how many did we find?
8 completely distinct categories, and that's before you even get to the phrasal verbs.
8. Most people know 1 or 2 at most.
Maybe 3 if they're being generous with themselves, but 8, and each one is genuinely different from the others.
And here's the thing, you're probably already using some of these without realizing it, without knowing why it works or what's actually happening when you say it.
And once you see what connects all 8, once you feel the logic underneath all of them, take stops feeling like something you have to memorize piece by piece.
It starts feeling obvious.
Very obvious and very satisfying.
So, Ella, you said, I will take that, and it just sounded completely natural. Why does it work so well?
Because take always has a direction. Something moves toward you when you use it.
What do you mean by direction exactly?
When I say, I will take that, I am pulling something toward me. I am accepting it, making it mine.
So there is actually a logic running through it.
The same logic runs through all 8 categories, and once you feel it, you start seeing it in phrases you've been using for years.
8 categories. Okay, so where do we start?
Category 1, rest and personal care. And this is probably the most familiar group. Take a shower, take a break, take a nap.
Why take, though? Why not make or do?
Because the shower is already there. The break is already available to you. You are not creating anything. You are simply choosing to step into something that exists.
You are moving into it, not building it.
Exactly. Take a bath. Take a rest. Take a deep breath. Take your time. Take it easy. You are stepping into something that is waiting for you.
What about take it easy as a goodbye? I say that all the time.
Same idea. You are moving into a relaxed state, stepping into ease. Still personal, still experiential.
Now, a lot of people say have a shower, have a break, and they always wonder if that is wrong.
It is completely right. Hey friends, if you've been saying have a shower your whole life, you are not making a mistake.
So both are correct.
Both correct and both natural. American English strongly prefers take. British English often prefers have in casual, everyday speech.
Dear friends, if you've been worrying about this one, please stop. You were already doing it right all along.
Now, category 2, transport and movement. And this is where the logic becomes very visible.
Because the train already exists. The route is already there. You choose it and move through it.
You pull it toward your journey. Take the train. Take the bus. Take a taxi. Take a flight. Take a left at the corner. Take the stairs.
What about get the bus? Because I hear that constantly from British speakers.
Get the bus is completely standard in British English. Take the bus is standard in American English. They mean exactly the same thing.
So once again, neither is wrong.
Neither is wrong at all. Now, before we move to category 3, there is something important to cover first. Take versus bring, because these two cause a lot of genuine confusion.
What is the actual difference between them?
Take moves away from where you are, bring moves toward where you are.
So if I am at home and I say, take this to the office, the thing is moving away from me.
And if I say, bring me a coffee, the coffee is coming toward me.
That is a very clean distinction.
Here is a good example. Imagine a manager speaking to her assistant. She says, take this letter to the bank. Then take the money to the travel agent. Then bring the tickets back to me.
Take, every time something moves away from her. Bring, the moment something comes back.
And it works every single time you test it.
Okay, category 3, information and capturing things. Take notes, take a photo, take a look, take a message.
You're capturing something, pulling it toward you and making it yours.
Take a look. You are directing your attention toward something, pulling the image toward your eyes.
I love that, yes. And take a message, you are capturing someone else's information and holding it for them.
Which is completely different from get a message.
Completely different. When you take a message, you write it down on behalf of someone else. When you get a message, you receive one that was sent to you.
So if someone says, "Can you take a message for Ella?" they want you to write it down.
And if Ella gets a message, someone sent it directly to her.
That is such an important distinction. I never thought about those two as separate things before.
Most people have not. Now, category 4, accepting and receiving. Take advice, take a call, take medication, take a sip of something.
Something comes toward you and you accept it willingly.
You are not chasing it. It arrives and you choose to receive it.
And category 5, tolerating, because I cannot take it anymore feels very different from take a break.
It does feel different, but the logic is still there. Something difficult comes at you and you have to absorb it.
Take it on the chin. She cannot take a joke.
You receive something hard and you manage it, or you don't manage it. Either way, something is still coming toward you.
Now here's one that genuinely surprised me recently. The hall takes 200 people. The bus takes 60 passengers. What is take doing there?
What do you think is happening?
The hall is not going anywhere, but it's still holding something toward itself, containing it inside its space.
That's exactly right, and that's category 6, capacity. A space or a container can take a certain number. It holds them, it accommodates them.
Hey friends, if you've never heard take used that way, now you have. The hall takes 200 people. The tank takes 50 liters. The van takes 8 passengers.
And the logic still holds. The space is pulling things into itself.
So 6 categories covered. And take is always personal. Something always comes toward the subject, into their hands, their experience, their world, or their space.
That's the thread, and we still have 2 more categories to go, and they're the most surprising ones of all.
What comes next?
The ones that surprise people the most: responsibility and control.
Like, take responsibility?
Take responsibility, take action, take initiative, take the lead, take control, take charge, take a stand.
These are all workplace phrases, adult life phrases.
Exactly. And the thread is still there. You are pulling something toward yourself, a burden, a duty, an authority.
You are not being given it, you are choosing to take it.
That is the key difference. Take initiative. Nobody told you to. You went first. You pulled the responsibility toward yourself.
What about take on, take over?
Take on, you accept extra work or challenge. Take over, you assume full control of something.
Take a risk, take a chance, take advantage of something.
All the same, you are reaching towards something that exists, an opportunity, a risk, a responsibility, and pulling it into your world.
And take care of, take part in.
Take care of, you bring something under your attention and protection. Take part in, you bring yourself into an activity.
Once you feel the thread, it really does appear everywhere.
It does. Now, the it takes structure, because this is its own category.
It takes, as in it takes time?
2 patterns. First, it takes plus time. It takes me an hour to get to work. It took 3 weeks to finish the project.
How long does it take to learn a language?
Exactly like that. And the second pattern, it takes plus a quality. It takes courage to start something new.
It takes patience to deal with difficult clients.
It takes real skill to make this look easy.
And have what it takes?
One of the most common expressions in professional English. Do you think she has what it takes to lead the team?
I'm not sure I have what it takes.
He proved he had what it took when the pressure came.
I've heard that expression my whole life. I never connected it to the take structure before.
Most people have not. Now, quick thing before we go further. Friends, a common mistake here, it take me an hour. Always it takes me, never it take.
And it takes me an hour for getting there, also wrong. Always it takes me an hour to get there.
2 plus the infinitive every single time.
Okay, now you said category 8 surprises people the most. What is it?
How you interpret things, how you react to things. This is the category most people have never been taught directly.
What do you mean by interpret?
She took what he said as a compliment. I took it as a sign that I should leave. I will take that as a yes.
Oh, take means understand there. Interpret.
Exactly. You are pulling a meaning toward you, deciding what something means to you.
So I take it you did not get my message. That means I assume, I conclude.
One of the most common uses of take in professional English. I take it the meeting went well. So you are staying, I take it?
And most learners have never been taught that use directly.
Almost never. And then there's the reaction side. He took the criticism surprisingly well. She took the news very badly.
Do not take it lightly. I took it personally. She does not take kindly to being corrected.
You're describing how something landed, how it was received, how it affected you.
And take for granted, that is interpretation too.
2 meanings, actually. Hey friends, this one is worth slowing down for. First meaning, not appreciating someone or something. He took her for granted for years, and then she left.
You had something valuable. You never stopped to appreciate it.
Second meaning, assuming something is true without checking. She took it for granted that she would be invited. She never actually confirmed it.
2 completely different situations, same expression.
And both are extremely common.
Now, Ella, you have a story that fits perfectly here.
I do. A few months ago, I had a job interview, an important one.
What happened?
I wanted to say that I take things seriously, that I take criticism well, that I take feedback on board and act on it.
And?
I said I do things seriously, I receive criticism well, I noted feedback.
Something felt off?
The interviewer was perfectly polite, but I could feel it. Something was slightly unnatural about how I was describing myself.
Because those phrases just do not sound the way a native speaker would say them.
Not at all. Take things seriously. Take criticism well. Take feedback on board. Take is the natural verb in every single one of those situations.
And once you know the interpretation and reaction category, you understand why.
It clicked for me completely after that interview, and I have never reached for the wrong verb since.
Good interview, though. Silver lining.
Very expensive lesson, yes.
Dear friends, this category is the difference between sounding competent and sounding completely natural. Once you feel it, you will hear it everywhere.
In meetings, in performance reviews, in conversations with your manager, take is doing the work constantly.
And our central rule still holds. Take is always personal, into your hands, your experience, your understanding, or your control.
Every single category, without exception.
Now, phrasal verbs, because you mentioned those in the opening and I want to get into them.
Right. And here is the good news. The same thread runs through all of them.
Take up first, because I hear that a lot.
She took up running after her doctor's advice. He took up painting when he retired.
You pull a new activity toward yourself. You bring it into your life.
Same thread. take in. It was hard to take in everything she said.
You are pulling the information toward your understanding.
And the other meaning, he was completely taken in by the story, deceived. The false information pulled him in.
Take back. Two meanings too?
Take back. I take back what I said. I was wrong. You pull your words back toward yourself. And I had to take the shoes back. You returned them to where they came from.
Take after. She really takes after her mother. Same eyes, same laugh.
You carry something forward from a family member. Their qualities come toward you through genetics.
Take out on. I hear this one a lot.
Do not take your frustration out on me. You push your negative feelings outward, toward the wrong person.
And taken aback.
I was completely taken aback by his response, shocked, caught off guard, almost always passive. You are taken aback by something.
Something unexpected comes at you, and you receive it.
The thread is still there, even in the phrasal verbs. Something always moves toward the subject.
Hey friends, if phrasal verbs with take have always felt like separate things you just had to memorize one by one, they are not. The same logic connects all of them.
And once you feel that, they're much easier to remember.
Speaking of which, if you're finding today's episode useful, please subscribe. We do this every week. New topic, same two hosts, same studio.
Right. Now, I think it's time to see all of this in action.
The role plays.
The role plays.
Okay, first scenario. Jake, you have been taking on extra responsibilities at work for 3 months, leading a new project, managing additional clients, no change in salary. You have decided to speak to your manager about it.
And this is a real conversation, one that a lot of people put off for too long.
Exactly. I will be your manager. You start.
Ready. Hey, do you have 2 minutes? I wanted to take the initiative and raise something with you directly.
Of course. What is on your mind?
Over the last 3 months, I've taken on a lot of additional work. The Henderson account, the new product launch, leading the Thursday briefings.
I have noticed that. You have handled it well.
I appreciate that. And I want you to know I'm happy to take on challenges. That's genuinely how I work.
But
Taking care of 3 additional clients while leading a project, that is a significant increase, and I would really appreciate it if you could take that into account when my review comes around.
that is a fair point. I'm glad you raised it.
I also want to take a stand on something. I think this kind of conversation should happen more naturally in our team. People should feel comfortable raising these things.
I completely agree with that.
I have to be honest, I could see you were a bit taken aback when I first walked in.
I was not expecting this conversation today.
I almost put it off again, but I decided to just take the plunge and have it.
I am really glad you did.
Okay, out of the role play.
That felt very real.
What did you notice?
Take the initiative. He did not wait to be invited. He went first.
Take on challenges. Natural collocation. He's not just accepting work, he's embracing it.
Take care of the extra clients. Take into account a respectful professional request. Take a stand, committing to a position without being aggressive.
And the 2 new ones?
Taken aback. Almost always passive. You're taken aback by something. It means genuinely surprised, caught completely off guard.
Hey friends, you'll hear this constantly in professional conversations. I was taken aback by the decision. She was taken aback by his response.
And take the plunge, making a bold decision after a period of hesitation. He had been putting off that conversation for weeks.
And then he just took the plunge.
That phrase works in any situation where you've been hesitating, starting a business, having a difficult conversation, making a big decision. Right, second scenario. This one is warmer, more personal. Ella has had a difficult day. A colleague received credit for work she did. She calls Jake.
I will be Jake. You call me.
Ready. Jake, do you have a minute?
Of course. What happened?
The presentation I spent 3 weeks preparing, David presented it this morning.
as his own work.
Are you serious?
The manager praised him in front of the whole team. He said nothing.
Ella, do not take this personally, but I also think you should not take it lightly either.
What do you mean?
Do not take it personally, meaning do not let it make you feel like you did something wrong. You did not.
Okay.
But do not take it lightly, meaning take it seriously as a real issue, because it is one.
So I should not take it to heart in the sense of letting it hurt me, but I should take action.
Exactly. Speak to your manager directly. Take the conversation to her before this becomes a pattern.
What if she does not believe me?
I would take what David said with a grain of salt if I were you. He does this under pressure. He says things that are convenient. Their manager knows that.
I hope so.
And tonight, do something that takes the edge off. Go for a walk, cook something, watch something you love. Give yourself time to recover before you decide exactly what to do.
That's actually good advice.
I am taking it seriously. You should take my word for it.
I will take that.
And we are back where we started.
Okay, out of the role play.
That second one lived entirely in the interpretation and reaction category.
Do not take it personally. Do not take it lightly. Do not take it to heart. Take it seriously. Take action.
All the phrases working naturally inside a real conversation.
And the two new ones?
Take it with a grain of salt, dear friends. This means do not fully believe something. Be a little skeptical. You don't have to dismiss it entirely. Just don't treat it as absolute truth.
I would take what he said with a grain of salt. I would take that review with a grain of salt. Very common, very useful.
And take the edge off. Reduce the intensity of something unpleasant, a difficult day, a stressful situation, a painful conversation.
Go for a walk. Cook something. Watch something you love. Whatever takes the edge off for you.
Hey friends, once you know that phrase, you'll use it constantly. It fits so many situations.
Both role plays, completely different registers, completely different emotional situations, but take running through every single moment.
Into your hands, your experience, your understanding, your control.
That's the thread.
So 8 categories, 1 verb, and the same thread running through every single one.
Take covers experiences you choose, a shower, a break, a walk, a risk, a nap.
And take covers responsibilities you accept, action, initiative, the lead, responsibility, control.
And take covers how you understand and react, seriously, personally, as a compliment, for granted.
And our central rule, one more time.
Take is always personal, into your hands, your experience, your understanding, or your control.
Every category, every phrasal verb, every expression, the same thread.
And one more thing before we go. Hey friends, take has even become a noun in modern English.
What is your take on the new project?
What is your take on the situation?
Your take, your opinion, your interpretation, something you have pulled toward your own understanding.
Even as a noun, it follows the logic.
It really does.
Now, our comment challenge this week.
One take phrase you have been using without fully understanding why it works. Tell us in the comments.
Mine is take it easy. I say it as a goodbye all the time. Take it easy. See you later. Take it easy. And now I know exactly why it is take. I'm stepping into a relaxed state, something personal, something experiential.
Mine is, I take it that you agree. I have been using this at work for years, in meetings, in emails, and now I understand exactly why it works. I am pulling a conclusion toward my own understanding.
Dear friends, what is yours? Leave it in the comments. We read every single one.
And if today's episode helped you, please subscribe. We are here every week with a new topic.
Same 2 hosts.
Same cozy studio.
Take care, everyone.
See you in the next one.